let's talk about the flight response, the trauma response that is known as flight. And what does that look like? I've talked about freeze, I've talked about fawn. What is flight? Flight is when our nervous system is triggered in a fearful event or a traumatic event that causes us to flee and run. So in childhood, this very much looks like the kid that stays late at school, buries themselves in their schoolwork, wants to join all the sports teams or extracurricular stuff because they're trying to stay away from a unhealthy environment. Staying late at friends' houses, taking longer to get home. So this is fleeing an environment of instability and that's not safe. In adulthood, what does this look like? It looks like chronic anxiety, OCD characteristics, perfectionism, workaholic, constantly on the move, very analytical and living in your brain, overthinking everything, the overthinking. This is a flight response. I very much can identify with this one. As to cope with my anxiety, most of my life was to work out and to go run and to go move constantly. Sitting still for me is very uncomfortable. I've learned how to shut off my sympathetic nervous system and go into a parasympathetic state, but it has not been easy. This is why somatic therapy is so important and so helpful. And I use my oils as well, as I told you guys that I do a lot of holistic coaching, in trying to get myself into a parasympathetic state. Hard to do. Workaholic, yes, very much so. Avoiding conflict, avoiding an unsafe environment, burying myself in things that I know I can control. OCD tendencies, obsessive compulsive, again, is trying to create a safe environment by creating rituals and patterning that keeps you feeling safe. Constantly moving and feeling productive makes us feel like we're doing and accomplishing something, therefore sitting still, and sitting still does not. It makes us feel lazy or like not being productive, which makes us feel uncomfortable because again, it's our nervous system speaking to us, and what we're used to being and creating safety for ourselves is keeping ourselves busy to deflect from an unhealthy, abusive environment. I know tons of people can relate to this. I have family members that are very much flight and constantly having to move all the time, not sitting still, anxious, obsessive about getting things done, constantly burying themselves in work because their anxiety is so peaked. So very different than the freeze response and the fawn response, and more aligns with a fight response, but I'm going to get into that one next. So stay tuned for the fight response. It's coming.